What is going on, guys? Today I am going to be doing a video of two different setups for Zulrah. First of all, it's the welfare rebuilding setup, which is this gear currently here. I'll have a little screenshot as well of the bonuses of each switch. And I will then be doing a medium to high level setup, which won't include stuff like the arcane and the imbued heart and the new raids gear, but it'll include something that I normally use if I don't want to put all my money and GP into Zulrah gear. I want to just have a little excess cash into Zulrah gear, so I can make that when I'm not doing raids, bandos, any boss, PKing or anything. So let's get it started. I'm going to be doing an hour of each gear just to compare the differences. Obviously it's going to be, should be quite a big difference, but compare the differences in price, on how much cash you can make an hour, and then I will subtract obviously the cost of supplies and everything. I'm noting them all down, and I will be doing this both for both setups an hour each. At the moment I'll be talking about the gear bonuses for the welfare setup. So first of all, you've got your range bonus, your magic bonus, your defense bonuses, and your prayer bonus that may come in handy with Zulrah. So first of all, you've got your regular trident. This is variable on how much you need or how much you're starting with to rebuild. You can swap this for a toxic trident if must be. You've got diamond bolt ease to allow a fairly decent hit most of the time with an average range level of 85 plus. You've got your helm of Nietinos. I don't know how to pronounce that, but you've got your helm of Nietinos because you don't really have any other helm unless you have Void, which I do have Void, but I thought I'd make this a proper welfare setup for people that can afford it. You've got your Mystic robes. These can be enchanted or any other robes. You can even use Void Mage if you have Void. Your Zami cape as your mage bonus, because your minimal mage bonus in this gear, so you might as well try and maximize the mage bonus you can get and affordable. You've got your Book of Darkness. Well, this can be replaced with your Zami book or even a Spirit Shield, even a Broodoo Shield, anything that you can afford. I'm not sure, I think it's 200k or so to fill a Book of Darkness at the moment, so it is worth it. Make sure you do that before you're cleaned, preferably, so then you have like some money in supplies and a book, which will always come in handy. Your glory, because you can't really afford an occult if you're less than 1 mil rebuilding from 1 mil, because basically you're going to need money to buy other gear, and occult is around 1.1 mil at the moment, so that's not really feasible. Your mystic boots, just to get a little bit of extra magic bonus as well. So yeah, that's your basic mage setup. Moving on to your range setup, you'll be using your rune crossbow. You can use other crossbows or a crystal bow, but I prefer to use the rune crossbow. I think it's a lot better for DPS, as you can't afford a blowpipe at this present time. You've got your helm of Niesinos again, of course. You've got your glory as well for your plus 10. Your Avis accumulator to protect your bolts so you don't lose as much bolts. Saves you a lot of money and it gives you range bonus. Your Barrows gloves, of course, or any other gloves that you can wear from RFD, preferably. You can, of course, wear a combat bracelet if you haven't done RFD, but I'm pretty sure most people nowadays have done RFD to a certain stage. Always choose the gloves over anything else. You got your mystic boots again. Personally, I would choose the snakeskin boots, but I didn't think it was feasible. I thought food over gear when it comes to range, just for the fact that you use mage more than you do range. So you've got to try and maximize your mage bonus and still have enough food in your inventory, as you are like low on cash. So you're not going to want to keep dying, paying for the Zulrah tellies. So I chose Camp Mystic boots. Obviously your Diamond Bolt's E. It's kind of a constant hitting bolt. I normally hit like all the time, and I'm only 96 range, but I prefer, or preferably would say, you need to be 85 plus to camp diamond bolts. If not, if you're lower, try and use a higher tier bolt like a runite bolt or something that will get your DPS down really quick. Obviously you got your black D hides, which you can swap this whole entire setup for void mage to void range. That's personally up to you. I have both of them in the bank. I just don't think it's feasible for me to do it because I think better DPS and better defense overall with a cheap setup. So there you go. I'll move on to the next clip now, guys. So I will see you when I'm back. Okay, so we're back now after the hour of the very basic welfare setup. I will put a price of how much the setup cost along with the bonuses of the setup, so you can see a rough estimation on how much you need to start this setup. So we used 5 teleport scrolls, so we're going to price check everything and then we'll throw in the teleport scrolls and take them away. I was using the teleport scrolls because I find it's a lot more efficient if you're using the scrolls. Obviously it costs a lot, but you normally make it back anyway. But there you go, there's 1.41 mil, 411k, we'll call that 412k. So do that, and I'll take the charges. We use 250, and how much are the tellies at the moment? 205k. So I'll do 412, take away 205, take away 60, 70, 90, 150k charges. So roughly you're looking about a mil an hour with the basic gear that you have. So that's not bad for a rebuilding method. Obviously it's not the best, but it will pick up once you get a toxic trident and a coal, a blowpipe. Even if you have void when you're welfare, it's best to probably have void range even if you're rebuilding, because basically it costs no money to use void and it's a lot better DPS than dragon hides. So anyway, I'm now going to move on to the max setup, so I will see you when I'm ready. So we're back now, guys, and we're in our max gear, which is the max basic affordable. It's around 85 mil for the complete setup, along with the Ring of Suffering, Tormented Bracelet, Anguish, your Picasians, your Eternals, whatever you can see. It's roughly 80 to 85 mil, varied on prices. That's just an average on when prices change and everything. I'm not using an arcane because I don't think it's worth spending 105 mil, which is what it's currently at, just for a plus 20 when this is plus 12. I don't think it's worth spending an extra 90 odd mil just for 8 mage bonus when I've got max damage for mage. Other than Imbued Heart, this setup is fairly good. Sub 1 minute kills like most of the time. And it's basically a good setup for someone that doesn't want to spend too much money on Zulrah gear, and so they can still have money for other gear. This is for your medium tier player, not someone that camps like Zulrah, Corp and everything all the time. But this is like a sideline gear as well as doing your other stuff. So I still use teleports with this method. Obviously I use Vengers the same as I did in the welfare setup. I've got just basically the same invent, just more switches and better gear, and hopefully that will improve how many kills we get in an hour. And then at the end I'm going to compare both loots and see which one is more, I don't know, lenient towards making not more profit but allowing you to have more money elsewhere in other gear setups. So I'll begin with my hour. It's now 2:05 in the afternoon and I shall finish at 3:05. So I'll see you then, guys. Quickly before I start my next hour, I'm going to go through the gear for the max mage, semi-max mage should I say. So first of all, you've swapped the trident for the toxic trident, which is an extra 3 mil or so. You've obviously got your Zulrah scales and everything inside of it. You've got your Tormented Bracelet over the Barrows Gloves. Don't worry if you can't afford the Tormented Bracelet, keep the Barrows Gloves for the bonus. That gives +5 damage bonus, which helps a lot when you're doing an hourly Zulrah challenge. Your Eternal Boots instead of your Mystic Boots, which kind of does override the bonuses quite a lot. Arims, full Arims instead of Mystics. And your Helm of Netzinos. It kind of helps a lot, especially when you're trying to get more DPS, and you've got extra defense with ARAMs as well. I use a Malediction instead of a Book of Darkness or a Mage Book or an Arcane, just because it's a middle range price. It's got defense on the shield, and plus it's plus 12 mage bonus. I've got a Blessing in my arrow spot as I'm using a blowpipe, which I'll show you in a second. I've got an occult which gives plus 10 magic damage and mage bonus, and a ring of suffering to allow me to have more invent space with recoils. So next we're on to our range setup, which is full void range, Necklace of Anguish, a Blessing again, Ring of Suffering, Pegasian Boots, Ava's Accumulator, and the Almighty Blowpipe. This is basically a full DPS setup. It's not tanky at all. You will get hit quite a lot. It's very good to use if you use it effectively. If you don't miss any ticks or anything within Zulrah, it's a very good and efficient way of killing Zulrah. It's also quite cheap because the Void doesn't cost anything, it only costs your time at pest control. The Blowpipe's very overpowered with the Void. The Pegasian Boots just give you that extra little bit of a defense and range bonus as well. So I'll move on to the next clip now, guys. So right guys, I'm back and I have finished my max 1 hour. I think it was like 55 minutes, but I had to do something in real life, so I had to stop and didn't carry it on because it's late now. So I've made 2.5 mil. I've not deducted the teleports, which is 5 times 4. So it's roughly 2.2 mil with the trident charges as well. So there's a fair amount of difference between the welfare and the thing. It's near enough double the amount money made with just a better setup. The welfare is obviously for people that have just been hacked, or they've been clean, PKing, staking, or even DC'd for money, anything like that. So basically you could just get 700 or so K together, get a really basic setup as I've shown you in the video on the first clip, and just do Zulrah for a couple of hours. You'll eventually be able to upgrade to a blowpipe and then a toxic trident, then an occult, and from there on you'll make a lot more money with better DPS gear. So yeah, I would recommend doing Zulrah, of course. Like, I'm never gonna ever say don't do Zulrah. It is one of the best money making methods, or consistent money making methods in the game, so I'm not gonna tell anyone not to do it. You could easily do it with less gear than what I showed you, but it's just not worth it if you do any less. 1 mil an hour is alright. There are other methods that are quite good as well, that don't require as much concentration, but then again, Zulrah, you've got a lot of chances of getting uniques, you've got the chance of getting a pet, stuff like that. So there's a lot more chance of you making a lot more money with Zulrah rather than a rebuilding method as Green Dragons or Mortmire Fungus. Anyway, this is going to be the first part of the series. So Clash of the Gear episode 1 is now over, guys. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you probably within the next couple of days with another Clash of the Gear. Peace out, guys.